Commander Sarah Chen stood motionless before the quantum display, her cybernetically enhanced eyes fixed on the scrolling data streams that painted a grim picture of galactic extinction. The command center of Luna Base Artemis hummed with subdued tension as her crew processed the latest findings. "Another one gone, Commander," Lieutenant Rivera reported, his voice tight. "The Cygnus 417 colony. 3 million souls just vanished." Sarah's augmented vision zoomed in on the sensor readings. The pattern was identical to the others. No debris, no radiation signatures, just empty space where a thriving civilization had existed mere days ago. In the past 6 months, 17 alien colonies had disappeared without a trace. "Show me the temporal overlay," she ordered. The holographic display shifted, revealing a three-dimensional map of the affected systems. Red markers pulsed where colonies had vanished, forming an unmistakable pattern that made Sarah's synthetic heart skip a beat. "They're not random attacks," she whispered. "They're hurting something." The realization hit her with terrible clarity. Each vanished colony created a barrier, pushing surviving civilizations toward a specific sector of space, like wolves driving prey into a killing ground. Captain Marcus Wong, her second in command, approached with a data tablet. "Commander, we've intercepted a transmission. It's different from anything we've seen before." The message flickered to life in the center of the command room. A being of crystalline beauty materialized. An Aetherian, one of the oldest known spacefaring races. Its translucent form rippled with pulses of desperate energy. "To any who can hear us," the message began, "we are the Aetherian Collective. Our worlds burn. Our people vanish. The Void Walkers have breached our outer defenses. They are not like the pirates or raiders we have faced before. They do not steal. They do not conquer. They harvest." Sarah watched as the message showed footage of massive, obsidian ships that seemed to drink in light itself. Where their weapons struck, matter simply ceased to exist, transformed into something that the horrific vessels absorbed into themselves. "Our scientists believe they are searching for something specific," the Aetherian continued. "They take our quantum cores, our consciousness matrices, our very essence. We have 10 billion souls in the path of their advance. Please, we offer everything we have in exchange for aid." The message ended with a data burst containing the coordinates of the Aetherian homeworld and their technological specifications. Sarah's enhanced mind processed it instantly. The Aetherians were centuries ahead of most galactic civilizations in quantum physics and consciousness transfer. But against the Void Walkers, their advanced technology meant nothing. "Your orders, Commander," Wong asked quietly. Sarah turned to face her crew. Each of them had been enhanced like her, their bodies and minds upgraded with humanity's most advanced technology. But their greatest strength wasn't their augmentations. It was the secret they had kept from the galaxy for over a century. "Contact EARTHCOM," she commanded. "Priority Alpha. Authorization Chen 709. Tell them it's time to wake the fleet." While most of the galaxy saw Earth as a relatively minor power, carefully maintaining a facade of limited technological development, the truth was far different. Deep beneath the surfaces of Mars and Luna, vast shipyards had spent decades constructing vessels that combined human ingenuity with reverse-engineered technology from a dozen dead civilizations. "Ma'am," Rivera's voice cracked with tension. "EARTHCOM confirms. Protocol Guardian is now active. The Aegis fleet has been authorized for deployment." Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. Humanity had watched from the shadows as countless civilizations rose and fell, learning from each tragedy, preparing for the day when they would need to step forward as protectors rather than conquerors. "Send a response to the Aetherian Collective," she ordered. Message reads, "Hold position. You are not alone. Humanity stands with you." She paused, considering her next words carefully. "And add this. The galaxy is about to learn why we hid our true strength for so long." As klaxons began to sound throughout Luna Base Artemis, Sarah felt the weight of history settling onto her shoulders. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, building weapons that could challenge gods and defenses that could withstand apocalypses. The Voidwalkers thought they were hunting vulnerable prey. They were about to learn that they had instead stumbled into the territory of something far more dangerous, a species that had turned its talent for warfare into a shield for others. "All personnel to battle stations," Sarah announced, her augmented voice carrying through every corner of the base. "The age of hiding is over. Today, humanity shows the galaxy what guardians truly look like." And in the deep bunkers of Luna and Mars, 10,000 warships began powering up their quantum drives, ready to prove that sometimes the most dangerous predator is the one that chooses to be a protector instead. Deep within Olympus Mons, Mars's ancient volcano turned fortress, Admiral James Harrison watched as the Aegis fleet stirred to life. Through the vast underground hangar's quantum blast viewport, thousands of ships glowed with awakening power, their dark hulls absorbing the crimson light of emergency beacons. "Status report," he commanded, his neural implant connecting directly with the base's AI network. Aegis fleet at 97% combat readiness. The AI responded through his thoughts. Crew revival process completing. All quantum weaponry systems online. Stealth systems disengaging. For over a century, these ships had waited in silence, while the rest of the galaxy saw Earth as a minor power dabbling in basic spaceflight. Humanity had poured its resources into creating the most advanced defensive fleet ever conceived. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering, combining human innovation with carefully studied alien technology. "Sir," his XO, Captain Diana Patel, approached with urgency in her steps. "The Voidwalkers have increased their pace. New projections show they'll reach the Aetherian homeworld in 72 hours, not the 6 days we initially calculated." Harrison's augmented mind processed the tactical implications instantly. "They sensed our awakening," he concluded. "Show me their new formation." The holographic display transformed into a real-time view of the Voidwalker fleet. The massive obsidian ships had abandoned their previous methodical approach, now moving with predatory purpose toward the crystalline worlds of the Aetherian system. "Permission to brief the fleet commander, sir," Diana requested. Harrison nodded, and within seconds, the secure quantum network connected him with every ship captain in the Aegis fleet. Their holograms appeared around him, each representing a vessel that could outmatch entire alien armadas. "Men and women of the Aegis fleet," Harrison began, his voice carrying the weight of a century's preparation. "For generations, we've watched from the shadows as civilizations rose and fell. We've learned from their triumphs and their tragedies. We've built our strength not for conquest, but for this very moment, when we would be needed as guardians." The tactical display updated, showing the Aetherian homeworld's desperate preparations. Their crystalline ships, beautiful but ultimately ineffective against the Voidwalkers' weapons, moved to create a defensive sphere around their planet. "Our analysts have decoded the Voidwalkers' attack patterns," Harrison continued. "They're not mindless destroyers, they're methodical harvesters. They seek advanced quantum technology, particularly consciousness transfer systems. The Aetherians have mastered both, making them the perfect target." Captain Sarah Chen's hologram spoke up from her position aboard the fleet's flagship, the EDS Prometheus. "Admiral, my team has analyzed their weapon signatures. The Voidwalkers don't just destroy matter. They convert it into quantum-encoded data. They're not just taking resources, they're collecting information." "Correct, Commander," Harrison confirmed, "which is precisely why we've kept our true capabilities hidden. Our quantum shielding technology, reverse-engineered from multiple extinct civilizations and enhanced by human innovation, should be able to resist their conversion weapons." The assembled commanders absorbed this information through their neural networks, tactical simulations running through their enhanced minds. Humanity had spent decades preparing for threats exactly like this, developing countermeasures for almost every conceivable form of advanced technology. The Aegis Protocol is now active, Harrison announced. All ships will deploy in 3 waves. First wave will establish a quantum barrier around the Aetherian homeworld. Second wave will engage the Voidwalker fleet directly. Third wave remains in reserve, protecting Earth and our colonies. He paused, looking at each holographic face. This is what we built this fleet for. Not for conquest, not for power, but to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Today, humanity steps out of the shadows not as conquerors, but as guardians. Throughout the solar system, massive hangar doors began to open. Ships that had never seen starlight emerged from their hidden berths. The Prometheus, under Commander Chen's command, led the first wave. Its hull, covered in adaptive stealth plating and quantum phase armor, reflected the light of Mars as it rose from Olympus Mons. All ships, execute jump coordinates, Harrison ordered. Show these Voidwalkers why humanity chose to hide its strength, not out of fear, but out of mercy. The quantum drives of 1,000 ships ignited simultaneously, tearing holes in reality. As the fleet prepared to jump, Harrison received one final report. The Voidwalkers had detected their launch and had turned their entire armada toward the approaching human fleet. Good, Harrison thought. Let them come. Let them learn that not all prey remains prey forever. The Aegis fleet vanished into quantum space, leaving behind a solar system that had harbored humanity's greatest secret. They carried with them not just advanced weapons and shields, but the accumulated knowledge and determination of a species that had spent generations preparing to be the galaxy's protectors. The time for hiding was over. The time for guardianship had begun. Commander Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the EDS Prometheus as it emerged from quantum space alongside hundreds of other human warships. Before them, the crystalline worlds of the Aetherian system glittered like jewels against the void. And approaching from the opposite direction, the darkness that had consumed so many civilizations drew near. Battle stations, she ordered, her neural implants connecting her directly to every system and crew member aboard. Deploy quantum barriers. Show me the Voidwalker fleet. The holographic display materialized, showing the enemy armada. The Voidwalker ships were massive constructs of impossibly dark material, their surfaces seeming to bend light around them. Sarah's enhanced vision counted over 300 vessels, each larger than anything humanity had encountered in their centuries of secret observation. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Rivera's voice carried an edge of awe, "the Aetherians are hailing us." The crystalline form of High Archon Lizara appeared in the command center. "Human vessels, we didn't expect such numbers, such power. Our sensors indicate technology far beyond what your public profile suggested." "That was the intention, Archon," Sarah replied with a slight smile. "Now get your civilian ships behind our line. The Voidwalkers will be here in 3 minutes." The Aetherian ships, beautiful but fragile compared to Earth's warships, quickly moved to safety. Sarah watched as the quantum barrier generators activated, creating a shield of altered space-time that would protect the crystalline worlds. "All ships, combat formation Delta," she commanded. "Activate Aegis protocols. Weapons free." The human fleet split into precise formations, a maneuver they had practiced countless times but never executed in real combat. The Voidwalkers showed no sign of slowing their approach. "Enemy weapons charging," Tactical reported. Energy signatures matched their matter conversion technology. Sarah nodded grimly. "Let's show them our first surprise. Execute Operation Mirror." As the Voidwalkers fired their first salvo, the human ships activated their quantum reflection fields. The beams that had annihilated so many civilizations struck the shields and split apart, their energy dissipating harmlessly into subspace. "Return fire. All ships, execute attack pattern Hydra." The human fleet's response was devastating. Ships that had appeared to be simple destroyers suddenly split apart, revealing nested weapon systems that had been hidden beneath layers of stealth technology. Quantum torpedoes, gravity lances, and weapons that defied conventional physics struck the Voidwalker fleet. For the first time in recorded history, a harvester's ship showed damage. "They're adapting," Sarah observed, watching as the enemy vessels began to shift their formation. "Just as we predicted. Lieutenant Rivera, signal the fleet. Phase 2 begins now." The human ships executed a series of maneuvers that looked like retreat but was actually a carefully choreographed trap. The Void Walkers, sensing weakness, pursued. Exactly as planned. "Ma'am," Rivera called out, "we're detecting unusual energy readings from their flagship. They're trying to communicate." Sarah's enhanced mind processed the incoming signal. The message that emerged was unlike anything she had expected. It wasn't words or images, but pure information, a quantum data stream that her augmented consciousness could barely comprehend. They're not just hunters, she realized. They're archivists. They're preserving dying worlds. But there was no time to ponder this revelation. The Void Walkers, perhaps sensing that their true nature had been glimpsed, launched a massive counterattack. Space itself seemed to warp as their weapons fired. "Execute Thanatos Protocol," Sarah commanded. Throughout the fleet, crews activated systems that had been designed specifically for this moment. Each human ship carried within it technology reverse-engineered from a dozen dead civilizations, all enhanced by humanity's unique talent for warfare. The battle that followed would be spoken of for generations. Human ships danced through space with impossible grace, their quantum drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. The Void Walkers' matter conversion beams met specially designed shields that not only blocked their effects, but turned their power back against them. "Commander," Captain Wong reported, "their fleet is falling back. We've destroyed 30 of their capital ships, damaged twice that number. No casualties on our side." Sarah watched as the mighty Void Walker fleet retreated, their once perfect formation now ragged and broken. But something about their withdrawal bothered her. It was too organized. "All ships, maintain battle stations," she ordered. "This isn't over. Begin analysis of that quantum data stream. I want to know exactly what we're fighting." As the human fleet secured the Aetherian system, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they had just participated in something more complex than a simple battle. The Void Walkers attempted communication, their systematic harvesting of advanced civilizations. It all pointed to a purpose they hadn't yet grasped. "Commander," Rivera's voice was quiet. "The Archon is requesting to come aboard. She says they found something in their ancient records. Something about the last time the Void Walkers were seen in this galaxy." Sarah Chen looked out at the battlefield, where human ingenuity had finally checked the advance of a force that had terrorized the galaxy. But as she prepared to meet with the Aetherian leader, she wondered if they had truly won a victory, or simply passed some cosmic test. "Bring her aboard," she ordered. "It's time we learned what we're really fighting for." The crystalline form of Archon Lizara cast prismatic patterns across the Prometheus's quantum-enhanced conference room. Commander Sarah Chen studied the ancient texts the Aetherian leader had brought aboard. Holographic records dating back millions of years, far older than any known civilization. "They were not always destroyers," Lizara explained, her form shifting with emotion. "The Void Walkers were once known as the Preservers. They were among the first spacefaring races, emerging when the galaxy was young. The holographic records showed massive ships, similar to the current Void Walker vessels, but gleaming with light rather than absorbing it. They traveled between dying worlds, preserving cultures and species that would otherwise have been lost to time." "What changed them?" Sarah asked, her cybernetic eyes scanning the ancient data. "The Great Collapse." Lizara's form dimmed. "A catastrophic event that destroyed thousands of civilizations simultaneously. The Preservers tried to save as many as they could, but they couldn't work fast enough. Billions died while they watched helplessly." Admiral Harrison's hologram flickered as he joined the conversation from his command center. "So they became more aggressive in their preservation efforts. Started taking without asking." "Yes," Lizara confirmed. "They decided that consent was a luxury the galaxy couldn't afford. Their ships began forcibly harvesting civilizations, converting matter and consciousness into data that could be stored eternally. Sarah processed this information through her enhanced mind. The quantum data stream they sent during the battle. It wasn't a communication attempt. It was an archive sample. Correct. Lizara's form pulsed with excitement. They were showing you what they've preserved. Every civilization they've harvested still exists, in a way, within their quantum matrices. Captain Wong entered the conference room, his neural interface already sensing with the ongoing discussion. Commander, we've decoded more of the data stream. It's incredible. Entire civilizations, perfectly preserved down to the individual consciousness level. The implication struck Sarah with terrible clarity. They're not destroyers. They're archivists gone mad with responsibility. They're trying to save everyone by converting them into quantum data. But that's not saving. Harrison's hologram interjected. That's just another form of death. Lizara's crystalline form shimmered with agreement, which is why we believe they targeted us. The Aetherian Collective has spent millennia perfecting consciousness transfer technology. We can move minds between bodies, between machines, even between stars. They don't want to destroy you, Sarah realized. They want to learn from you, to find a way to make their preserved consciousnesses truly live again. The conference room fell silent as the implications sank in. The Voidwalkers weren't mindless destroyers but tragic figures, ancient guardians driven mad by their own failure to protect the galaxy eons ago. New contact, Wong suddenly announced, his augmented senses picking up the alert before the ship's systems could announce it. Massive quantum signature at the edge of the system. The holographic display shifted, showing a single Voidwalker vessel larger than any they'd encountered before. It wasn't moving to attack. It was waiting. They're broadcasting. Rivera's voice came through the ship's network, text only, translated into all known languages. The message appeared before them. We have watched. You protect. You prepare. You understand. Perhaps there is another way. Sarah looked at Harrison's hologram, then at Lizara. They saw us defending the Aetherians. Not conquering, not destroying, but protecting. We did what they once did, before the great collapse broke them. Commander, Harrison's voice carried the weight of command. You're the one on site. This is your call. Sarah Chen had spent her entire career preparing to fight the horrors of space. Now she faced something far more challenging, the possibility of healing one. Respond to their message, she ordered. Tell them, we understand protection. We understand preservation. Let us help you find a better way. As the message was sent, Sarah turned to Lizara. Your people understand consciousness transfer. We understand warfare and protection. Together, perhaps we can help the Voidwalkers remember who they once were. And if we can't, Harrison asked soberly. Then we do what we prepared for, Sarah replied. We protect the galaxy, from them, and from anything else that threatens innocent lives. The massive Voidwalker ship remained motionless, waiting for a response that could change the course of galactic history. In the crystalline worlds behind them, billions of Aetherians waited to see if their saviors could also save their destroyers. Sarah Chen stood at the center of it all, a human enhanced by technology, but guided by compassion. Facing a moment that would define not just humanity's emergence from hiding, but its true role in the galaxy. The next few hours would determine whether humanity would be remembered as just another protective force in the cosmos, or as the species that helped heal the galaxy's oldest wounds. 1 year later, Earth's orbital command center glowed with holographic displays showing hundreds of ships moving through the newly established quantum corridors. Commander Sarah Chen, now Admiral Chen, watched as vessels from a dozen species traveled safely through space that had once been stalked by predators. The Preservation Initiative is showing remarkable progress, Dr. Lizara noted. The Aetherian scientists' crystalline form had become a familiar sight in Earth's highest councils. The latest consciousness transfer trials were completely successful. Sarah nodded, her enhanced vision tracking the massive form of a converted Void Walker vessel, now a mobile restoration facility where preserved civilizations were carefully awakened into new, specially crafted bodies. "How many have we restored so far?" she asked, though her augmented mind already knew the answer. 3 million individuals from 12 different civilizations, Captain Wong reported, approaching with fresh data streams. The Void Walkers, or the Preservers, as they're calling themselves again, have been instrumental in ensuring the process maintains their original memories and personalities. The holographic display shifted to show the massive project taking place in the Aetherian system. Dozens of former Void Walker ships, their surfaces now gleaming with renewed purpose, worked alongside human and Aetherian vessels to construct the Galactic Restoration Center. "Admiral," Lieutenant Rivera's voice carried through the quantum network, "the Council is ready for your report." Sarah turned to face the assembled holographic representatives from Earth's government, the Aetherian Collective, and, most remarkably, the restored Preserver leadership. Each face, human or alien, carried the weight of the unprecedented cooperation they had achieved. "The Galactic Protection Initiative has exceeded our initial projections," she began. "With the Preserver's ancient knowledge, Aetherian consciousness technology, and human defensive capabilities, we've established security corridors throughout 30% of known space." The display behind her showed the network of protected routes, monitored by joint patrols of human, Aetherian, and Preserver ships. What had begun as a desperate battle had evolved into something none of them had imagined. A true partnership between the galaxy's oldest guardians and its newest protectors. "More importantly," she continued, "we've begun identifying other civilizations approaching quantum awakening. The predictive models suggested by the Preservers have proven 99.9% accurate. And we can protect them," Earth's Secretary General asked. "Guide them safely through their advancement." "Better than that," Sarah smiled. "We can give them choice. Protection if they need it, guidance if they want it, and the freedom to develop if that's their path. We're not just preventing destruction, we're fostering growth." The Preserver representative, their form a swirling matrix of quantum energy housed in an Aetherian-crafted body, spoke with the weight of eons. "We lost our way once, believing that preservation at any cost was the only path. Humanity showed us another way. Protection need not mean imprisonment. Preservation need not mean death." Sarah's mind drifted to the massive archives within the Preserver vessels. Billions of stored consciousnesses waiting to be restored. What had once seemed an impossible task now felt like a sacred duty, shared between 3 civilizations that had found each other at exactly the right moment. "There will be other threats," she reminded the Council. "Other forces that view developing civilizations as resources to be exploited or destroyed. The galaxy is vast, and we cannot be everywhere." "No," agreed Lazara, "but we can be enough." Humanity hid its strength until it was needed. The Preservers lost their way but found it again. "My people thought ourselves doomed but discovered allies instead. Together, we are more than protectors. We are guides, teaching others to protect themselves." The Council chamber filled with new alerts as another convoy of restored beings prepared to return to their reconstructed worlds. Sarah watched the proceedings with a sense of profound satisfaction. Humanity had emerged from hiding not as conquerors, but as guardians, and in doing so, had helped heal ancient wounds and forge a new path for countless civilizations. "The age of hiding is over," she announced to the Council. "The age of protection has begun, and we will face it together." As if to emphasize her words, a new alert flashed across her enhanced vision. Another civilization, reaching for the stars, sending its first quantum signals into the void. But unlike before, these signals would not go unanswered. They would be heard by a galaxy that had learned to protect its own. In the depths of space, the combined fleet of humanity, Aetherians, and Preservers stood ready, not to harvest, not to destroy, but to guard the long dawn of new civilizations. The galaxy's greatest predators had become its most dedicated protectors, and the future had never looked brighter. Sarah Chen, standing at the heart of this new era, allowed herself a moment of pride. Humanity had prepared for war, but achieved peace. They had expected to fight monsters, but helped heal them instead. And in doing so, they had become something greater than they had ever imagined. The stars beckoned, and this time, they held not terror, but promise.